All right, welcome to Deepnight Revelation. We'll be picking up where we left off last week. So these guys, the plant doesn't really have a name, but they came into this sector or subsector. They discovered this world, and they've discovered a number of things. The first thing, the major thing that they've discovered is that their ship, the Revelation, is starting to show that it has been, on the road for a potentially way long time. And it is now, I mean, the standard procedure for naval ships is probably about every 6 months they pull in and to a dry dock and they're gone over. But Revelation's been in space probably for since Denman at least another 3 years, so or 2 years, 3 years, somewhere along those lines. So it's gone a long ways with just patchwork maintenance inside the ship. Maybe occasionally a crew member or two has to go outside to fix something, realign an antenna, whatever. But it's starting to show problems, and so they found this world. There is two races on the planet: the Dudeli, who are an avian humanoid race, and the Dudeli seem like they are maybe highest tech level is tech level 5 for the most part. But in this on this planet there is a large city, and in the middle of this city is a 15,000-ton ship that is a Hakes trade ship, and the Hakes are the other race that they're tech level 9ish, and they are kind of squid-like shallow ocean predators that tend to um, they are traders that they have a trade association, and they are clearly taking advantage of the Dudeli and are just basically grinding this planet for resources, which they then turn into higher tech materials that they have convinced some of the Dudeli in the city that they evidently need in order to, and they've turned them into the literal consumer. While the Dudeli that are outside of the city that don't really want any part of that, want to continue living their life as they have, are referred to as rebels. And nobody knows, is that true? Are they rebels? Are they violent? But anyways, the crew of the Revelation has gone into talks with the Hakes. They are in the process of building scaffolding in the asteroid belt of the planetary belt of this system, and they are mining the belt for ore. And they have agreed with the Hakes that if they can be left alone to do this, they will leave them the scaffolding for their own purposes. They can turn it into a station, dry dock, whatever they want when Revelation leaves. And in the meantime, they have sent down some of the crew for R&R shore leave, and they have set up about 2 clicks south of a small Dudeli village, out of course far outside the city. Not far outside, probably about 5 clicks outside the city, about 2 clicks south of this village, and so they're not overly far away from everything that's going on, but they've been ordered to just kind of lay low, have your R&R, enjoy yourself, but don't make contact with anybody. The less contact, the better, which is unusual for an exploration mission, and we'll get into that. Before we get started, we would like to thank a friend of the Greenwater Guildhall. None of these are sponsorships or partnerships of any kind. They are just products that we really like. And tonight, we would like to thank Boston Scally Company. Boston Scally makes wonderful Scally caps. They've got 2-panel, 5-panel, 7-panel. They've got just a plethora of hats in different colored fabrics, different styles. Um, just an amazingly good hat company. They usually have a sale going on. I believe there's a 10% sale if you go and you are a first-time purchaser. So go check out bostonscally.com and get yourself a new hat. We have our own merch store via Zazzle. We've got hoodies and T-shirts and buttons and a fleece blanket, and we've got a beer stein. We've got just a plethora of options for you. And I'm going to try and get on it this week. I will be adding a new hoodie, the nose art for the NSY-X scout ship from tonight's game. I'm going to try and get it up there. And possibly a new Greenwater shirt as well that I've been kind of tinkering with. So, yeah, if you want to help us out, 100% of the proceeds from that store goes back into the channel. So it covers things like our Roll20 subscription or mapping software subscriptions and all of those nitpicky little things that seem to come up. If you want to help us out, go get yourself a T-shirt and a button, and we appreciate everything you do for us. All right, so... you guys are. It has been. Well, that's a good question. How long has it been? So it's been about almost a month that you've been here, and your crew has been building the scaffolding. They basically built the scaffolding around the ship, with the design being that. Then they will just pull the ship out. You can tow it back into orbit around this planet, and leave it there for the Hakes when you decide to leave. R&R missions have been going well, and so far there have been no incidents. Sir, what was her name? I know it's Sir Alex. Yes, Sub-Lieutenant Sir Alex Venati has done an excellent job of basically maintaining this operation. She has maintained order, and there hasn't been any actual complaints, but everybody can roll a carouse plus social check.
Plus social, you said?
Yeah.
This really isn't the character.
Mine's an 8.
Shit with.
Okay.
I switched to this new Roll20 format, and everything looks different. It's really weird.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, it took me a little getting used to, but I've learned that I actually do like it better.
I'm sure I will too. I hesitated to update for a while.
I hate it.
Yeah,
I just went to the simple.
Holy crap!
Just another change for another change, no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, the dice roller change still needs some work, but yeah.
Yeah, I switched it to the simple roller. If you look at the box, the dice roller box, the bottom left-hand corner, it says advanced roller. If you click that, it switches to the simple roller, and it's the same format there that you'll have to move the box away to select the D6.
Yeah, and then it's got the separate section for advanced roller where you can select how many dice you want, what type of dice, and what your plus or minus to it is.
Yeah.
I steer everything
Since my social is now 12, I get a D and +2 instead of 1, so I rolled an 8.
Nice.
I rolled a 3, so I got a 5.
Okay, and Josephus, you got a 7.
That's correct.
So Randolph, you mess, in the officers club, having a drink or two with some of the crew that has returned from shore leave. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is it is certainly not a formal complaint, but there are some rumors going around that Sir Alex Venati, Sub-Lieutenant Venati, is maybe. They're saying this jokingly, but the implication is that she is maybe a little bit not over, but heavy-handed in enforcing the rules. Like she has set up a perimeter around this camp down on the surface. She doesn't want anybody going out past that because you're only 2 kilometers south of this other Dudelai village, and she really does not want anybody to have any contact. And this has rubbed some of the science division the wrong way because they, um, part of their whole shtick is making first contact, and they realize that you guys have already made first contact in the city. But their argument with Venati was that this doesn't really apply because these are they are not a part of that city culture. In fact, the city kind of has ostracized them,
Were
and
they rebels?
well, that's what the city dwellers claim. The Hakes and the Dudelai of Grand Trad City claim that these guys are all rebels, and so these scientists kind of want, even if it's hidden and from a distance, they want to get up close and observe these people. And she has said, absolutely no way, you're not doing that. Shut up and go have a good time, play volleyball in the grass or whatever, have your R&R, and then get your ass back up to the ship. We are not doing that. I am under orders that we are not doing that. And she is
that's following our instructions, really. I mean, it's hard to knock her for that, I guess.
Yeah. I might talk to her about doing a little what is it? A little stealthy inspection with drones or something.
Okay.
That way the scientists don't have to leave the facility, and she can enforce that, but they get some input.
Okay.
We could also go meet these people and do a first contact and feel them out if we think it's cool for. I mean, really, my alarms went off just to the predatory and seriously traitor-heavy culture of the squid people. I mean, they're just, God, there's everything about them to their core makes me think that they will try to fucking screw you over and do bad things. I don't necessarily know that these avian people are that way, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to be xenophobic on hostile planets that could go hostile either. I mean,
right.
I'm not telling you how to handle your situation, but I mean, I'm not opposed to going and meeting the rebel bird people. They might be beneficial.
I think in the long run we need to at least determine what's going on with them. If it ends up being that we can contact them and it's a reasonable thing to do, let's do that. But
Well, sorry.
why don't we get some information first? Some information first.
Okay. So you radio down to her, and of course, because of your distance, where the planetary belt is, and where we're just going to call the planet Grand Trad because it otherwise doesn't have a name. There's some lag, probably about 7 hours worth of lag between calls, and when you get the response back from the R&R camp, Alex Venati personally calls you back and sends a message that she perhaps you guys want to come down because so they followed through with your suggestion. They used some drones, and they have witnessed a couple of situations. It seems that there is some kind of cheetah-like predator. They haven't seen one specifically, but from what they were recording, they saw something in the tree line around this village. The villagers of this entire area seem on high alert. So evidently one or more of these predators has come into the village and caused some problems, and they're concerned. And then one of the villagers found the drone And
Well, they'll just think it's one of them octopus people's play toy.
well, that's what she thought at first too. She goes on and says that evidently the Dudeli are a bit smarter than she anticipated, and they were evidently they acted like they were aware that the R&R camp has been there for some time, for the past month, and they came and made contact with them. And she's not sure how to proceed with this situation. She's obviously not really trained or versed in first contact situations. So far, everything it hasn't gone violent. She's kind of turned that over to the scientists to kind of deal with. But in her defense, the one smart thing that she did is she activated the external mics on these drones, and so they have picked up a ton of the language and conversations, and their translators have been chewing on all of that, so they
Nice.
are able to communicate.
So I would say offer foodstuffs and medicine, and if anybody needs help them. But
We could also
explain that we're only there temporarily.
we could go kill the cheetah creatures. That would be fun.
I
Hunting.
agree. Let's go kill. Can I use?
I just don't know what we don't know what the ramifications might be.
Of killing a cheetah creature.
Oh, the cheetah creature. Those are the wild. I was thinking you were talking about the octopus, the squid guys.
Yeah, no, these are
I don't want to kill an octopus. I'd rather nuke their shit.
Right, I'd rather kill a lot of octopus.
I've got sinister suggestions as you all look and hope for about the octopus creature, but that's all on our exit strategy. That's not.
Yeah, I worry that it may cause repercussions for the people living on this planet.
Oh, I feel you, but we'll wait till we get to that point, and I'll bring up my suggestions for that.
Yeah,
because
in the meantime, we might just find out if there's any problems with hunting it. Like, is there any culturally appropriate? Is there a problem? Will there be a problem hunting this creature?
So, according to her, what she can kind of ascertain, and keep in mind that the translator is still, the language is broken in places, but from what she gathers, in her report, the Dudeli of the village are actually asking the team at the R&R camp for assistance, because these creatures, these cheetah-like predators, they're natives to the planet, from what she gathers. They're not imports, she thinks, and they have run off with some of the children. They go after the kids because they're the most vulnerable, children and elderly, and they've dragged some of them off into the woods to never be seen again.
Well,
can't hear you, Sarda, but we see your mouth moving.
Yeah, let's definitely go hunt them down then. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
pistol Gauss rifle.
Right.
My cloth uniform. Too bad I don't have camouflage uniform in this.
Yeah, right.
I want camouflage battle dress.
Do we have
invisibility cloak?
I've got camouflage.
Right. Can we offer ship-wide volunteers for people who want to stand active guard duty at the village while we're going? We can transport them as well. But I mean,
sure.
if we've got people that really like to fight and really don't mind being on the, if that sounds exciting to them to possibly get mauled by a cheetah, then this.
No, I expect at least 10 or 12 people would want that.
Yeah, go if you want to put that out. Go ahead and make a leadership plus social check.
Who?
Anybody who's putting that out, throwing that volunteer thing out. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's really good. So yeah, you get a number of
Well, you said social. I got a 12 now.
so you get a number of security individuals that part of the security team that are still aboard, and they volunteer, and basically they make a really good point. Is that so? When Venati set up the rotations for the R&R, she was careful to make sure that there was a maintained security force on the ship. But they and they're the first to volunteer because they're and they make a good point. Their point is if everybody's down on the planet and we're dry docked, what the fuck are we doing?
Yep.
So,
Well, I mean, internal security.
yeah, and that's what these guys are. They're like, we've been doing our patrols every day, but they're half the crew is either outside the ship working on the ship, they're in the service ports working on the ship. They're like, there's really nothing for us to secure.
Well,
So we volunteer.
yeah, a good little contingent of that will make the town. That way, while we hunt, the town is secure. Our base camp where our guys are doing recreation is more secure.
Right.
I mean, we need guards with guns that are actively people that want to shoot things.
That's these guys, and they're all armed with they can just grab Gauss carbines.
Yeah.
We need the smart computers where you get tagged. If you're tagged, you can't be shot by friendlies.
Oh yeah, the smart guns. Yeah.
Yes, as we send these guys off into the woods to go chase down a snipe.
Right. Well, I mean,
I thought we were going to go hunt it, and these are just security details to stand guard.
Oh, I think they want to go hunt too.
Well, they can. I'm not afraid of that.
Yeah, or at least
These bird folk might want to trade DNA.
I'm sure you'll find a way to get some either way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You'll figure it out.
And besides, they might have a female.
So it is probably about 18.6 hours. Well, hold on. I should look at this other ship.
Well, we can take a week. We can jump and take a week, or we can.
Yeah, take a week, or you can be there in 18 hours. That's up to you. Okay. So I was right. So yeah, at 4G, it's about 18 hours to the main world.
Are the squids and their ships keeping a good distance away?
I thought they just had the one.
They have the Hicks trade ship that is on the planet in the middle of the city, and then that ship has 4 Hicks Predators, but they haven't launched the Predators.
All right, cool. Need to keep an eye on that. I want to know if any of their ships take off.
Okay.
Somebody somewhere needs to be in a pinnace or something watching. And if they take off, I want everybody to know that happens.
So out of these 12
We
individuals,
need to take a bomb shelter down to this camp. Do we have any mobile bomb shelters?
you probably do have some prefabs. Yeah, not a bomb shelter, but you've of course got prefabs that you set up for the camp. So out of these 12 individuals, how many are you taking with you? Now, keep in mind the Deepnight Scout is really only geared for 4.
I think I'm staying.
You're staying on Revelation?
Yeah. If there's only room for 4, take one of the NPCs. You know what I mean? If that's because I'm certainly not going to go big game hunting.
Well, no, but I mean,
They certainly run the sensors.
Yeah, and I mean, that would definitely help.
I mean, if it's just an 18-hour trip, man, we don't. I mean, all they need is room to fucking sit and breathe and shit. It's not like they've got to fucking, they could sleep most of the way there.
Right.
If that comes down to it, I mean, we can pack all 12 of them in just transport, right?
I would think, yeah. And are you taking? I mean, so I mean, if Sarda's going to
We
stay
would
on
only take 6.
Revelation,
I think we should only take 6. Is
yeah, I
that
mean
all right?
your camp down there is not that big.
We could use 3 at the camp town and 3 at the camp.
I just figure I'm in better shape being able to do constant scans from a bigger ship.
Sounds cool. I mean,
Okay.
you don't have to, you whatever you want is cool with me.
I mean, you're not. I mean, at the distance that Revelation is from the main world, because you guys decided to put the scaffolding, it's not in orbit around the main world. It's at the planetary belt in the mid-system. So, I mean, you're not going to get any detailed scans of the planet at that distance.
I got you. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I just thought if there's only room for 4 people, I'm not very helpful on the for.
I'm gonna leave Stimpy on the Deep Night, but of course Pappy has to drive.
Right.
So I mean, he's kind of.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's only room for 4. If you guys were jumping, because NSY-X has a 2-jump range. If you guys were jumping, it's only going to be comfortable for 4 to 8 people, and 8 people is if you're sharing bunks.
At 8, you're sharing bunks.
Right. But 4 people, it's comfortable for you guys, and maybe and a pilot. So you could probably. It's not very big at 200 tons. If you take all 12 of these people, you're going to be tripping over people in the hallways.
No, we've got 17 tons of cargo space. We can just.
Some of that's taken up with the truck.
Fair enough, but still, most of them. I mean, can't people just lounge around everywhere?
They can sit in the common area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can sit.
I wouldn't take all 12 anyway. It only takes 6. We still need to leave something at the ship.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you want to take 6?
Yeah, six Marines. Come on.
All right. So you grab 6 of the security personnel and you take off. Have Pappy make a piloting plus dex check.
What's his dex? 14.
Yeah, that'll do. So yeah, I mean, it's a routine check, 6+. So yeah, Pappy makes it look pretty easy, and you guys make a smooth entry through the atmosphere and come down just outside of the camp. I mean, when I say just outside, it is a short walk from the ramp to the camp. And as you come into the camp, you can see that there are a number of Dudelli. And hold on here. I don't know if I have anything particular. I don't have any pictures particularly for this, but we can use this bit out.
Yeah.
And of course, these are the Dudelli.
Are they all?
There are a number of the Dudelli.
Pretty shade of blue.
Yeah, they look like walking, big walking blue jays. For the most part. And as you come in, you step off the ramp and you start to come into the camp. You see that there are. You see that there's 6 of these individuals that are around camp, kind of attempting to communicate and kind of paying attention or having a curiosity about some of your equipment. And some of the scientists are trying to explain what it is that they're doing, and the Dudelli don't quite grasp what's going on, but they're intently looking. And everybody can make a recon plus intellect check.
I get a 3.
I got a 9.
I get a 3. I don't notice anything.
Randolph accidentally poked out his own eye. So Bocephus and Sarda, watching the Dudeli as they're looking at stuff and communicating with some of the scientists and paying attention, it's very much if you if you've ever here we go again with the chicken analogy. If you've ever watched chickens where they're constantly looking to see if there's seed to pick up off the ground, their head will turn, pay attention to something for a second, then it'll dart to another place, look over there, turn and look over there. That's exactly what the Dudeli do. Like they focus on something for 1 or 2 seconds, and then they turn and look at something else for 1 or 2 seconds. And their language is very it's very hard to get used to because it is a bunch of screeches and squawks like birds. If they even wanted to try to speak Anglic, it probably would be impossible for them. Their mouth and vocal cords just simply aren't made that way.
Right.
But the other thing that you notice is that as they're talking to the scientists, you see some of the scientists starting to get like a little frustrated because their head will turn and look at something, and the translator will say, "Well, what does that do?" And the scientist will start to explain what it is that he's doing. For instance, this one was taking ground soil samples, and a quarter of the way through the scientist's explanation, the Dudeli will suddenly dart and turn at something else and say, "Well, what does that do?" And then as he'll sigh and start to explain that, and then the Dudeli goes back over and looks at the original thing and says, "And you were saying about this?" Like they switch topics like instantly.
ADHD.
Right.
Got a bunch of children here going, "Why?"
Did we bring any Ritalin?
Right.
We can just put out a quick memo to say, just try to be patient and answer their questions.
So as you come in and you Sir Alex Venati comes walking over, and she says, "Thank God you guys finally made it." She says, "I'm kind of out of my depth here. If she says, not to put too fine a point on it, I mean, if we were shooting at these people, I'd probably be better at this, but we're not, and we're not in a naval battle, and so I'm not sure how to conduct first contact situations. But they kind of made first contact with us, and so I don't know exactly what to do."
Yeah, you've done fine. I mean, they're not in arms.
Yeah.
We haven't provided them with weaponry. We're in pretty good shape so far. So yeah,
do a SG1. All your gods are lies. Here, have these guns.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because the whole plan is we're not going to be here very long. It looks like these people are kind of screwed on this planet. The people that are taking advantage of them, we don't know much about them. We don't know if they have reinforcements. So that if we were to, destroy all the ones that are here on this planet causing problems, that might cause, retaliation that wipes this entire planet out. So we're just going to put our heads down, get our job done, and get the hell out of here. Is really all we're doing. So,
she looks and she says, "Copy that." She says, she goes, "Don't get me wrong. I like the grasslands. I even like feeling the rain on my face. That's been a very pleasant change, but she says, I feel a little weird."
So in
If you want to stop, go ahead, Sarda.
I mean, minor trading is fine. If we want to trade some basic tools, if we want to help anybody that's sick or hurt, if we want to trade food, well, that sounds fine. But
and I will give you. So remember, part of your deal with the Hakes,
Grand
the
trade.
President Grand Trad, was that there's not to be any trading going on. The Grand Trad Trading Association claims all trade rights to this world.
All right. Well,
Yeah, so then what we'll do is we'll reclassify it as an exchanging of gifts. You're not allowed to trade, but you are allowed to mutually decide on your reasoning of gifting things to each other.
We could gift them
And like, I will give you
an
this.
1862 Colt.
Right, and then in return, you give me these oranges that you've gathered, and these are gifts. It's not a trade. Trade requires money in our culture.
So, I don't know that you probably would not make a very good lawyer, because I just don't know that would hold up in court. I mean, you are really walking a thin line. But so the if you could call him a leader, the Dudeli, the so-called in charge, comes up to you, and kind of up behind Alex, and he says, through the translator, he invites you to come to their village, and he says that he was under the impression that, and maybe that's too big of a word for the translator, but he seems that he was under the impression that Alex was contacting somebody to come down and help with this predator problem that they've been having. Shit. Give me just a second. My video's wonking out on me here.
Do we have a picture of this cheetah-like animal?
Resets his shit.
There we go. Can you guys all hear me and see me?
See, now he's on mute. We can't hear him.
Oh.
No.
Can you hear me now?
Nope, not hearing you at all. But I see your mouth move.
I'm not on mute.
See the mouth moving, not hearing.
Somebody got something on in the background?
Like, I mean, we got a TV. Sure.
Somebody
It's a
talking
tease
in the
going.
background?
No big deal. All right, Chris, it looks like you're back. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
No, we're not hearing you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
No, I did not hear you, Chris.
I did not hear that.
All right. Give me just a moment.
It endangers the main mission. And
Yeah. Like I say, we don't know if there's another whole planet of these squid creatures that will
Maybe a
immediately
whole other
retaliate.
empire.
They might totally retaliate, whereas this one's just gonna screw over this planet and leave and go on to another planet. And so you're sitting there going, all right, we can help them out immediately, but that may end up causing them to be genocided in the future.
Right.
Well, do you think it's a mistake to kill the cheetah people?
Oh no, I think the cheetah people are fine. I think that's like an animal on the planet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We go kill that, have a dinner.
Yeah. And hell, you can confirm that with life sense. You'll be able to tell if it's a sentient creature or not.
Yeah.
So the Dudeli leader, it's hard to really call him that, but he takes you guys back to, leads you back to the village. So, I mean, you have of course, you have the option of either, basically either walking with him, or you can take the gecko. However you would prefer to do it.
How far is village?
2K.
2 clicks.
I'm cool with walking it. I don't give a fuck. I mean, that way, if we need to call for backup, the Marines have the gecko and can come on in, and we have a gung ho leader, the sub lieutenant, to mount a rescue if they need.
True. That is true.
Right? Everybody cool with that? We're gonna just.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
I could go outside and be really cool.
Yeah. How cool did it get
compared to you? It's really cold here. It's 40.
Oh.
Yeah.
I am gonna love 40.
I'm gonna wear some good armor though.
Yeah. What are you guys? What are you packing?
What armor do we have?
Well,
I mean, you can have all your own personal armor.
Yeah, but we couldn't bring much.
So you have. Let's see here.
I think cloth was as good as we were allowed to bring.
I don't know. I've got advanced polycarpus and an expanded shield, and that's what I'm going to be bringing.
Yeah, I've got polycarpus as well.
Yeah, I figured you get. I mean, you're not in Grand Trad City, so if you were, the Grand Trad Trading Association would take unkindly to you wearing armor, and I mean they didn't even want you really carrying around anything much more than a bladed weapon and a stunner. But out here in the what they consider the outback, you can pretty much dress however you want.
Yeah, but if I remember right, when we first started, you wouldn't let us have anything better than cloth armor.
In the city, yes. So I mean, I didn't think you'd let us bring. This is the standard body armor that your security forces are probably wearing.
What is this?
This is the standard body armor available on Deepnight. You probably have something better than that. But like I said, in Grand Trad City, the Hakes don't want you wearing and walking around heavily armed and armored.
I'm wearing my polycarpus with an expanded shield and my God sniper rifle, and my medikit, and good to go.
I've got a stunner, a Gauss pistol, and a Gauss carbine, like the security people.
Okay.
And a cloth armor, which looks like desert cami.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
I'm in 2012, actually 2001 cami armor.
Okay. Yeah.
The U.S. Army.
That works.
I look just like history.
Just like history. So you guys kind of follow him back, and they take you through fields, and pretty much goes pretty well. Do any of you have survival?
Yes.
Go ahead and make a survival plus intellect check.
That doesn't do me a whole lot of good. 9.
Okay, so as you are heading back, or walking towards this village, you can see, because there is tall grass in this little valley field, however you want to call it, that leads towards the village, and the village is kind of on the northern side is ringed by heavy forest. And as you're coming back, you can clearly, you're following back the direct route that the Dudelli made, coming towards the camp, because you can tell because the grass is laid down, and you can see their footprints. But Randolph, you notice that off to your right, there are some disturbances of the grass in the deeper grass just off the trail, and you kind of look at that, and you notice that there are some large feline-like foot tracks in this grass and the muddy ground. The ground here is almost always muddy. Not I would not necessarily a soft dirt, because this is a wet world. Rains come through quite frequently. Not heavy rains, but enough that everything is saturated. Not
Well,
to the
we
point
wish
of
we had that in Phoenix.
yeah, not to the point of becoming soupy, but the ground, the dirt is soft. It's moist, and you can see that there are these footprints. They look feline-like, probably about the size of a man's hand.
Are you pointing this out to everybody?
I say, hey, everybody, cat alert.
Well, let's go ahead and do a life detection, Chris.
Okay, go ahead and make your life detection check.
Yeah, so I got 12, and all I needed was 4.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, I think that's a pretty easy one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's easy, and it's got distant reach, which means
It's like 5K range.
yeah, it's 5K range, and
Well, you're going to pick up a lot of them then.
it's fine. It says life detection is reasonably sophisticated and can distinguish intelligent beings from bacteria or unimportant animals in the area. It functions best in technically intelligent minds. Your shielded
Yeah.
mind will not pick up, of course. but,
It'll let him know whether the creature is sentient or not. That's really the
Yeah.
question at hand.
yeah. But really, yeah, I'm trying to find this fucking predator or predators that should be relatively within a kilometer, really. And
So yeah, it takes you about 10 seconds. You pick up that there are at least 8 other mines around you, and not including the ones that are in your obvious group right now, including the Dudelli. And of course, you are able to determine that these 8 are of animal instinct, and they are maybe probably about 60 meters out through the thick grass, kind of not they're not hunched, they're not like in a predatory, pounce state. They are hunkered down, kind of hiding, laying as close to the ground as possible, letting the grass cover them, and just kind of sniffing the air. They are aware, even at 60 meters away, they are aware of where you are, and they are just kind of laying down. But they are not in a predator combat stance.
all
Oh,
right.
God, they aren't Aslan.
Well, I will, kind of motion for, well, hey, about 60 meters over there, I'll say really quietly, are these bullshit ass fucking animals. There's 8 of them.
Sarda's having fun.
Yeah, it's cracking up at Bocephus's radio comms.
So,
Well, what do you expect from a dolphin?
are you going to let the Dudelli know that they're there?
Yes.
Okay. And so these 3 of the Dudelli from the 6 stayed back at the camp. The other 2 went with the third, their leader, in air quotes. with you guys back to the village. And those three, when you tell them and kind of point where these creatures are, their heads start darting around all over the place, and then they are smart enough that they look you guys over, and he kind of cocks his head and he says and wants to know, how is it that you know that they're there?
We're invincible.
We are your gods.
Yeah.
Show him, like, show him computer. Wave your med kit around.
I mean, like, you know, my people are different than yours, and the same as you can smell my fart, I can sense the presence of others. It's just part of my people and the adaptations that I've taken over eons to develop as a species is all. You know, perhaps later on, if I were to mate with one of your hens,
Your
you
hen?
might be able to reproduce some kind of offspring.
We
That
find hen
it
to be a
too will
very
be able to-
we find hen to be a very offensive term. It's like the indigenous people think about the word squaw. We just don't like the term hen. That's a human's word.
Yeah, but the translator would translate it the right way.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. Whatever you call them, you know. I'm not trying to get into semantics.
That's our word.
You know,
That's our word.
right? You know, but
We don't have.
Do-
You know,
do you
how
find-
can you politely say we don't have chicken people where we come from?
look, we eat birds where I come from. No, I'm not going to say that. I mean, like, I'm sorry. What tried to offend you, but perhaps right now you should think about watching your ass, and we will see about dispersing of these some of these cheetahs.
So he kind of looks, you know, his head darts and looks where you had motioned that they were at, and they you know are looking around. Their heads are darting this way and that, and I mean the 8 of these felines that you're detecting don't seem to be moving. They're eyeballing you guys.
If I can see one, I'm going to put a round right through it. 60 meters ain't far.
Go ahead and make a recon plus intellect check. You let's see. You
I already did.
Right. Go ahead and make another one at let's see. What does this say? -4.
-4.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to use the infrared scope on my gauze sniper rifle and try to find one when it comes my turn. I think.
Oh well.
So yeah, you're looking where Bocephus is planted, and you don't see anything. You don't even notice at that far out. You don't even notice that there's any real grass that is disturbed or that there's gaps. I mean, they're perfectly camouflaged.
Okay.
Do they show up on
I
infrared?
pull out the M38.
The M30. So
You know what that is?
That's the pocket nuke, isn't it?
No, M30. The M38 was the Vietnam era 40 millimeter grenade launcher.
Oh shit! So they do show up on infrared.
Well, I will flip the infrared option on my gauze sniper rifle scope, as it says that's just standard.
Yep.
With the gauze sniper rifle, and
now, of course, you're not seeing color, but this is what these things look like.
oh, that's beautiful. And I'll be like, you guys should use infrared.
Wish I had some.
Well, if you've got an eye
don't you
job,
get the eye? Didn't you get the eye job?
No.
I didn't give you an eye job.
No.
No, you You did
All I
forget.
had so far is wafer jack and something that gave me better dexterity.
Out of curiosity, well,
You gave me an augmentation that gave me +2 on my dexterity. So
Yeah.
so I don't have a negative score.
Yeah, I got
that,
the same thing. I got the same thing. That and the wire jack, and then he also did the cybernetic eyes.
So you've got infrared eyesight. You can see them. Sorry.
I do, but I'm not there.
well, you're with Did you stay back at the camp, or are you?
Okay, so we did take everybody went. Okay, so wait, I hold on. I didn't think I was going.
Because I assumed that you were going, because like what I said was that back on Revelation you wouldn't be able to get any detailed scans.
I'd be on the ship doing scans type
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you would be privy to their radio
Monitoring.
communications.
Yeah, I'd
So
be definitely monitoring.
You can go ahead and make an electronic sensors plus
Sure.
intellect or education check.
I'd like to stuff one of these.
13.
Okay. So yeah, you are picking these things up, and actually,
They look kind of like a. Geez, they look kind of like a tiger wolf.
Yeah, you got to kill them quick.
does anybody have any animals skills?
I do. Animal 0.
Go ahead and make an animals plus intellect or education check.
I have none.
Done.
None of my characters have ever had anything
Damn, that's
animal.
pretty good. Okay.
10.
So these look very similar to a creature that is on a number of worlds in charted space. Not exactly the same, but they're very similar. They are known as Lorelai's predator. They are a mid-sized, close kind of type of cheetah. They usually operate in mated pairs or packs of 3 to 5 juveniles. It is usual a method of attack for them to do a sudden rush from cover, knocking a victim down and then dragging it off back into cover. They use their camouflage to their benefit. They are well camouflaged and very fast. They have a bullet-shaped head with razor-sharp teeth, designed more for slashing bites than for any kind of serious fight. They dislike a straight fight, and they will often go for a harmless foe, which is what has been described by the Dudeli with what they've been dealing with in their village.
Well, I can hit that 60-meter mark with my rifle. I mean,
No, a carbine ought to be able to do that. If I
would
could see it.
think the carbine.
Yeah, seeing it's your best.
Right, if you can see it.
See, I gotta see it. I can't see it.
yeah.
This is why God made grenades.
It's the Zen Archer.
That's right. That's why I pulled out
This is
the
an archer
M38.
Look at the Molotovs on his ears.
He's the Zen Archer of grenade launchers.
Yes.
It may be archaic, but it works.
You don't need to see
It's
her
very,
as long as you've got
it's
a lot of
very
ammo.
simple.
So yeah, the Instel Arms
They were
Deepnight
called groupers.
the Deepnight carbine made by Instel Arms has a range of 500 meters. And it has the scope feature. So
Nice.
And what's the carbine got?
that is the carbine. That's the Deepnight carbine.
It's how far?
500 meters.
Plus scope.
Whoa!
Yeah, so that'll. Oh, I'll get to aim though. So that would be an 8
Okay. So
because I aim.
with aiming, go ahead and roll your damage.
All right, let me.
Are you doing a single shot or a burst? Because this thing, are you also using a carbine?
No, he's using a
No, I'm
rifle.
using a Gauss sniper rifle.
Oh, okay. So then never mind. So yeah, go ahead and roll your damage.
Yeah, this is AP6,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna roll 5d damage and see how that fucking works, and then we'll find out how good these creatures are. You know.
Yep.
Like, oh, we're gonna eat fucking stew tonight, Gregor. And,
Oh shit!
oh, you're Randall. So
That was Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I would I pull out
We're all
a
schizophrenic.
high cost MRE and have a filet mignon or a pheasant under glass.
Yes.
How about duck a la orange?
I'm gonna shoot that.
So, at 18 points of damage, yeah, you turn one of them into lingering red mist.
Yeah.
I mean, you just core it with your Gauss sniper rifle. The rest of them immediately flee and
I don't
they
know.
scatter.
The
And
Gauss rifle's pretty quiet. It's
Yes.
it's not a big bang.
Yeah, but I mean, when one of them
But
suddenly
having
gets
going,
liquefied.
yeah, one of them turning a mist into a mist and
Yes.
amidst you.
And now Randall and the Dudeli can see them. As they take off running, they kind of scatter across the prairie as they're running away, and they're running towards the tree line, which is probably another 120 meters away.
Now, so if it takes them 3 seconds, we know how fast they are.
Do we get to shoot at them again?
Well, I
Like
can tell you
another
they
zip,
move
please?
8 meters per minor action.
It's you get to take a shot at another one. Yeah, it's running away.
Yeah, you can take.
Can I see any of them now?
Yes, you do.
Assuming the sniper rifle doesn't have a crazy reload or something like that.
So,
No, it doesn't.
Right on.
It's high tech shit. They.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
they're not
so
trying
there's-
to completely hose you.
Oh no, that's cool. There's a 9. I don't care if I kill these things or not. They're running off. We probably won't find them. You know, they're gonna go rethink their life.
That's another hit. You can go ahead and roll your damage. Randolph, do you want to make a shot? Oof. So Bocephus drops another one. That's a hit for Randolph with a +2 to damage. It would be a +4, but you at -2 for their.
and what's the Gauss
other
carbine?
Gauss carbine is 4D -1, and if you fire and burst fire, you can add another 3 to that, so it'd be a 4D +2, or yes, 4D +2.
18.
So yeah, you drop 3 rounds into one of them, and it drops. And when you guys are firing your weapons, and of course they're Gauss weapons, so they're not as loud as some of the other guns. The Dudeli are, obviously skittish, and they kind of jump back and are looking at you guys, and then looking downrange, and looking at you guys, and looking downrange, and so you've now killed 3 of them. These cheetah-like creatures, predators, are running at 18 meters, or I'm sorry, 24 meters around.
Yeah, well, if they're getting gone, I mean, I say we collect fucking our kills and go back to our camp and tell these guys, there you go, man. It should be kind of safe now. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Okay. So
Bring sweet tea.
you guys collect your
Fried
kills,
chicken.
and the leader is still insisting to please come to their village.
All right, let's go to the village.
So do they, do we know if
Guys,
these bird people, do they eat dead tigers?
No. So you guys follow them back to their village, and coming into their village, everybody make a recon plus intellect check.
I don't know why I don't make a hotkey for this.
I know, right?
I got a 7.
11.
So Randolph, a 7. You didn't get the big one, but you notice a couple of things. So as you guys are coming into this village, it is a very simple village. Buildings are just made. They're kind of like log cabin kind of buildings. And you notice that. So Randolph, you see a couple of them serving meals, and the whole thing about them being ADHD, they're all like that. So it's not just the Dudeli that were in the city. You're seeing that this is pretty much their natural state. And you've evidently entered the village at a meal break time. And they are not carnivorous. They all seem to, these Dudeli, you saw Dudeli in the city eating meat. These Dudeli appear to be eating nothing but vegetables and fruits. A lot of nuts, seeds. But the other thing that you notice is that there is a couple that have a child, a fairly young child, and they are feeding it. There seems to be a handmade tool, and it appears to be fairly old, like maybe it's a family heirloom that is passed down from one generation to the next. And they are using this tool to feed this child. Now, Bocephus and Sarda, you see as you're coming in, there is a piece of artwork on a building, or on the side of one of these cabins, that is very strange. It looks, at first glance, it looks like maybe it's just some kind of weird alien nouveau art. But closer examination, it looks an awful lot like a star chart for a solar system. And it's not this one.
All right, well, I will take photos of that.
I suspected when we were with these bad guys, I suspected that these bird people aren't native to this planet.
I'll ask them about it. I said, what do you know of this picture?
He kind of almost in a reverent tone informs you that this is a totem of their ancestor spirits, and that each of the dots on the circles, and each of the dots have their own circles. He shows that each of these dots is one of what he is referring to as ancestor spirits, but he's talking about them as if they were gods.
Right. So I will explain that we have similar drawings, and those refer to our planet and the sun and the planets in the solar system. And so I will draw a similar design of the solar system we're currently in.
Okay.
And then one of like my home system and what it would look like if you were to look at that drawn out similarly, and say this looks like it is from another location that you are probably from originally. And we can take this image back to our ship and see if we can't figure out where that home is, based on.
He finds this all fascinating, and he loses attention about every 3 to 5 minutes, and then comes back to it. And it's not that he's not paying attention to you. It's just really hard for him to focus on one thing for very long. And then he looks at it again, and he lets out this weird bird-like, what you can only imagine as a chuckle, and he says, "The Dudeli have always been here."
Oh, sure. I'm just saying that this is a picture of another system somewhere else. And he says, he kind of cocks his head, and he point blank says,
are you suggesting that it's like the Hakes?
What are the Hakes now? What
They
am
are
I-
the octopus
Squid.
people in the or
Yeah,
the squid people.
they're from another location and they came here.
And he almost. I mean, I imagine that. I mean, even with bird with a beak, he's going to have some kind of facial expression in it. He kind of cocks his head and he almost seems irritated. And he says, "We are nothing like the Hakes."
Well, no, you're not, because there weren't, to our knowledge, there weren't people here already living here when you got here.
Randolph, as this conversation is going on, you are kind of looking around the village, and you notice that one of the things that Randolph can kind of see is that the Dudeli appear to be very social. They are constantly interacting with one another, but what you're seeing is a little bit different than what you saw in Grand Trad City. These Dudeli, they all jostle and jockey for position in, pun intended, in the pecking order. And leadership positions, you witness leadership positions change like hourly. Like
maybe minutely.
Yeah, like it's constant. It's in a constant state of flux, and essentially, what you can determine is that the most charismatic of them will end up leading a group of whoever decides to follow them. But then, if somebody else suddenly displays more charisma, their attention immediately goes to them, and it'll change. And so it seems to you that like the most powerful or leadership individuals in the village probably don't maintain that position for very long. I mean, from what you're seeing, if they can stay in that position for a week to a month, they're considered ready for retirement. They've been there the longest anybody's ever been.
Well, I'm retired. I can tell.
Yes, but what you are witnessing is it does seem that they have a democratic kind of form of government where they come to a consensus, but from what you're seeing is just some of the odd jobs that are being done around the village. It must take them a very long time to come to a consensus because nobody can keep their attention on any one thing for very long.
That must be a survival trait somehow.
I mean, it's something medically you might want to look into. Maybe there's something blocking.
Yeah.
I'm rippling.
Yes. Give them some meth. That'll straighten them out.
Well, I'll take the meta scanner and give them a once over and see what I think.
Covert brain scan, see if there's something going on that's.
Yeah, go ahead and make a medic. Well, are you doing this overtly, or are you trying to disguise the fact that you're trying to scan somebody?
No, I'm just gonna fucking whip out my little fucking,
med scanner.
Med scanner and
pull a bones and be like, he's dead, Jim.
I'm just gonna pull one out and look at the one closest to me.
Just an old country doctor.
Look, for Bocephus, this is pretty mild. I mean, he hasn't drugged them. He hasn't cloned them against their will.
And I mean, everybody knows you only get the best medical scans through the butt. So.
He's
not taking a flesh sample. This is very, very mild Bocephus behavior.
Yeah. I'm just gonna whip it out and be like, I'll have a little conversation with him. I'll be
You're gonna whip it out, see if there's any hints.
Where I come from, we have leaders and they stay by their thing, and this is my role. I got a 10.
So your med scanner, I can tell you. So scanning them, it's not that they are deficient anyway. Their brains are just evolved this way, and looking at your med scanner. It comes up that they are clearly evolved from avian predator stock.
Where the short attention span would pay off.
Right.
Yeah.
They have
They look like crows to me.
Yeah.
their average body mass is 50 to 55 kilograms for both males and females. They're strong for their size, but their overall mass means that they are typically weaker than a normal human. They can move as fast.
They only weigh 110 pounds.
Right. They can move as fast as a human on the ground, but they have a curious hopping gait that looks more like looks a little comical. So they hop like birds do. They have a natural covering of feathers that generally, and you're noticing this around the village, makes clothing pretty much unnecessary. Although they do have belts and sometimes like thigh packs that made out of leather that they wear for carrying items. Or sometimes minor protection. If they are a traveler, they have a -2 to their strength roll. They have a +1 to their dex roll, and their endurance is made with a 1d +2. You are also noticing that their bones appear to be hollow. So at one time in their past, those arms were actually wings, and it has evolved into arms.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I'll be like, oh yeah, these people aren't being manipulated; they're just grew fucked up.
This is completely natural.
Yeah, this is what they're meant to be. You know,
They've got perfectly normal bird brains.
yeah, they're just fucked because they're sky people. I mean,
They don't, there's not enough fat in their diet to develop very much brain power.
Yes, the protein deficient.
no,
Supposedly that's what did it for us.
if given the right amount of time, I might be able to get one to focus with different variants of shock therapy. But
That works for everybody.
I don't have a lot of time to really get into that, so I'll leave them unaltered.
So what Randolph is observing as this is all going on is that it seems that a proper chain of command really means nothing to them. Especially if whoever is their immediate superior has lost their confidence. So if they determine that whoever's in charge is no longer that big of that if he's no longer the slice of bread and a bag of chips, they will move on and just be like, screw what he said, we'll do what we want. Their society, as far as like getting things done, is completely chaotic. Like Randolph, you're just sitting there looking at these guys. You're like, how did they build these houses? It must have taken them forever.
Probably they built them 2 at a time. As if they are travelers, anybody who's a leader of a group of them, their leadership checks are difficult, 10+, and their efficiency is modified by 10% per point of effect. So a check with an effect of 3 results in -3 results in a 30% reduction in output, and the task taking 30% longer because they just can't focus.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah. So
we need to bring a bunch of them back.
Bring a bunch of them back. Put them in the engineering department.
Great.
So as you guys are kind of chatting, and Bocephus is scanning this one, from the other side of the village, a female comes hopping up, and she is waving her arms and squawking, and
she grabs Bocephus, gives him a big smack on the lips,
a big peck.
Drags him off to the hen house.
She's waving her arms and squawking, and the translator is coming back. Come quick, my baby.
All right, let's go see her baby.
We're gonna go look at her baby. I'm sure it's totally normal. I'll already be telling her on the way.
so she says, no, you don't understand. One of the predators dragged my baby off into the woods.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, well, yeah, perhaps if you were paying better attention.
Perhaps if you were a better parent.
Yeah.
Wow.
They make these leashes that you can.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a dolphin, man.
If I just had the time, I could show you the beauty of the shock collar, or the. Back in the days, we had this wonderful device called the rack, and
Cattle prod.
oh yeah, it was great for raising children. You know.
That's what I didn't use.
Cattle prod?
Right.
Yeah, cattle prod.
I
didn't use a cattle prod. No wonder they turned out like this.
I'll tell them though that, man, we've already killed 3 of these creatures, and to do too much more would throw off the natural.
We can look for a child. I mean, that's.
I guess. Yeah.
I could go out and be bait. I'm going to go out and be bait.
We'll be humanitarians, I guess. We'll be fine. We can kill these people on the way out after we save their baby.
I'll get a handheld scanner out and play around with it, and then hit my life my life detection.
Okay, so go ahead and make an electronic sensors plus.
Oh, I'm not using electronic sensors. I'm actually using psionic ability.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm totally cool with going and saving the baby and what's left of it.
Cancel.
Yeah, by this point, it's what's left of it.
Oh, yeah, man. Those things look violent. I saw them. Your baby is probably dead. But we'll see if we can find parts of it to bring back. So you could build like a totem or something.
Thanks, Stu.
Out of its body.
I'm just trying to find a sentient creature near one of these animal creatures. Or more animal creatures.
Are you using, what are you using?
Life
detect, or yeah.
Life
Yeah, that's better than my hand scanner, which is only good for 50 meters.
I just figure as long as we know the direction ahead, that's really all I'm trying to really do. Is make it so that when we start heading off in a specific direction, we're heading off in the right one.
If there's a blood trail, we could use the meta scanner to track it.
Yeah, my main thing is I just want to, rather than picking a direction and running in that, I'd like to pick a direction that's the right one.
Yeah.
We can start looking for signs when we're on the way.
Would you like to use heap rounds in case it's actually carrying the kid when you shoot it?
I mean, I've got a stunner. That's what I plan on using. But
high impact, high explosive.
Yes.
You want to shoot high explosive anti-tank rounds
at the cheetah carrying the baby. I'm joking. His stunner is probably the best thing to use in this situation.
Gotta get pretty close.
These type of things stimulate our brains and let us, break the monotony of peaceful existence in space. It's very important that we get our hostilities out.
Got to save Tweety Bird.
Yeah.
I rolled boxcars.
Sarda's like the good guy in the group that makes us stay in our moral boundaries.
Yeah, I'm boring.
No, I didn't say that now. I didn't say that at all, man.
What moral brownings?
Yeah.
I grew up on sack bases.
I figure we got to come back through here.
Peace is our profession.
Oh, sure.
4 megatons at a time.
We should only burn a third of the bridges that we have.
Only a third, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we got to do this initiative bullshit. So here we go.
Yes. So.
Or are we in initiative? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, go ahead and roll initiative now, and that way we'll have
I
it.
rolled 13.
All right.
Where's my token here?
Oops.
There we go. Combat. I'm not going first.
What's all those dice you rolled?
I have no idea. That's not what I told. Why is it rolling all these dice?
2d6 factorial. Is that what it's doing? I don't know what the P. I don't know, man. That's
What you're getting?
There we go. That's better. It was like rolling additional dice, and I honestly don't know why. There we go.
I've had that happen on occasion.
So,
I rolled 2D plus 2 once and got 15.
Over the Martin Luther King weekend, they fucked around with the dice roller, and
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what they did, but it hasn't made it better. So it is quite broken. So Sarda does his life detection, and you do find that there are there is 4 of these creatures. They are dragging a smaller Dudeli that apparently is still alive, but you can tell through your life detection that it is badly injured.
all right. So I will let I'll let Josephus know it's this direction, and he's badly hurt.
Yeah, and your life detection will last for about 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's quick. So
Yeah.
I just basically I want to know which direction to start running in is really the big thing for it. That was really the
Right.
And so this direction, and he's badly hurt.
Yeah, so thermal scoping it.
Okay.
Yeah. Same infrared.
I just sent feedback on their roller.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Suck
New
it.
dice rollers. What I said was new dice roller sucks.
Yeah, it is broken. It was working pretty good there for a while, and then now I don't know what they were doing. So you guys kind of go rushing off in that direction. Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you just booking it?
I think we're going for speed at the moment.
Okay.
They're dragging a wounded individual. They're not going to be very
We
fast.
just save the baby.
So you see that
How far away are they?
So you see that there is one of them that as you are running up, you can see you get to a point where you are about 10 meters from the tree line, and there another 10 meters into the trees, you can see the one that is dragging this Dudeli, who is hurt pretty badly, and it's got it by its right shoulder, and it's dragging it, and this little bird kid is kicking his legs and squawking and making a racket. And behind it, about another 10 meters behind that, there are another 4 of these predators that are kind of scattered through the trees. And as soon as you guys you're making plenty of noise running up, they, of course, turn and are getting into a prep position. Randolph, what do you want to do?
Aim at the one of the 4 that doesn't have the child.
Okay. I'm going to mark one of these. Let's just say that's a good mark. So I know he's got the kid.
How far away are we from them?
So you're about 20 meters from them.
Gotcha.
Or No, I'm sorry, 30 meters. Because it's 10 meters from you to the tree line where that one is, and then they are 10 meters into the tree line, and then behind them is another 10 meters.
You see, take a look at this. I rolled 2D plus 3, and what's the answer?
So now it's doing it to you.
It's 2D plus 3 is 16, not.
Right, and it was doing that to you last night, too.
11.
Yeah, it says 2d6 plus 3 equals 3 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3. What? It sounds to me like they're putting Common Core math into their dice roller. So 11 is hit with a plus 3 to damage.
And that would make it 4D plus 1 for a carbine.
Correct. And it drew down
19.
Yeah, okay, it did right. I was like,
So what are you using for this die roller that is doing this?
so on the left-hand side at the very bottom, there's the little, looks like a D20. If you click on that, it'll bring up the dice roller, and then in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see in that new window, it'll say Advanced Dice Roller. If you click that, you can then select how many of the different types of dice you want to roll and plus minus.
You know, I just ordered this just before we started. I ordered a set of dice. I may be rolling my own.
Yeah, we might end up having to roll by hand. I think there's still a way if you go to over to
I always type. So, you know, I'll either type in /roll 2d6 plus 3. You know, so that's one way of doing it. Another way is you put bracket 2d6 plus 3 bracket, and that does the little yellow box like that. But you're right. When I look at the formula it's using for his, it's got 46 exclamation mark, 2d6 exclamation mark plus 3.
Right.
So I don't know what the hell the exclamation
mark. There are these icons in the die roller, like for inline dice, exploding dice, compounding dice, and penetrating dice. If you look up at the top of the dice roller where it'll say GM roll, and then there's all these other ones, make sure that none of those are highlighted. If you click one, it'll highlight it, and you can unclick it. Yeah, see, that's working for me now. That's very...
Yay!
Yeah, that seemed to work. Okay, well... Yeah, that worked. Okay, cool. So... so, yes. So you did, what? 19 points damage? So you pop one of them, and he goes down. Sarda, what are you doing?
I think he's too far away to do anything.
I'm 20 meters, so I'm pretty far for a stun gun.
Yes.
A stunner.
Yeah, what is the range?
I think the range is 10 on mine. Yeah, range is 10. So I think I'll double move.
Okay.
Towards them.
Yeah, you've got a TL-12 stunner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10 meters.
So I'll 10 foot move. I'll double move towards them. So what is that? 12 meters.
So
that puts me within range.
Well, it'd be yes, that'd be 12 meters.
Yeah. The action.
Yeah. Well, you could move 18 meters if you wanted to really get up close.
Yeah. Why don't I'm going to move the two actions movement, and then the third action will be to aim the stunner at him.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's see what are you doing?
I think maybe we ought to get these guys spears and knives. Do they have spears and knives to
Oh, yeah.
protect themselves
Oh
with?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Telepathy on the one that's carrying the baby.
Okay.
And that's why I did the life detect myself, because I wanted you to save some points.
Let's see here.
5. I did not.
No, you did not make it.
This is a routine 6. So I did not send any telepathy at it.
No, you attempt to make contact to change its mood, but it either brushes that off or it just didn't make it.
You don't have
got
higher.
luck.
You don't have
I got a
higher.
luck point.
You don't have higher than +2 for that.
Well, with every point that he spends, remember your his DM goes down.
He's only spent 1 today, and that was
Right.
the one life detect he did earlier. And I don't know how long ago that was.
So I have 11 psi after that, and then 1 in telepathy.
Oh, okay. So you only have 1 point in telepathy.
Yeah, I'm much better at awareness and stuff.
Gotcha. Oh, okay,
But-
gotcha. I thought it was, for some reason I was thinking it was the telepathy that you were better at.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if I'm at full, I get +2
Right,
on my psi, and
Yep.
so the first time I use it, I lose one of my DMs. Just
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I did the life detect. I was trying to save you some side points. I
well, I appreciate it.
It's time for
I knew
my
it didn't really
treat.
matter if the success rate's so low on that. I knew we needed to know what direction to move in.
So you attempt the telepathy, and it fails. Sarda, you were right up there. What do you want to do?
It has not reacted. What has it done in response to me moving up on it?
Yeah, I kind of did you in the wrong order because we were fighting with the dice roller. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and go again. They haven't done anything. You ran up there. You've aimed.
I'm just gonna shoot at it then. I guess this is the next round.
Hit the baby.
Hit the baby.
We're having chicken tonight.
The baby, want to make sure it doesn't move.
That was our solution to killing the mind flare in Baldur's Gate 3. Just kill the hostage. And then you don't have to worry about the hostage dying in the burning cage. Then you can kill the hag.
So I got a 10 to hit.
That is a hit with a +2 to the damage. And if I remember,
So that means
if his
similar to you, so
Yeah.
16 points.
you did how much?
16 stun.
Whew. Yeah, so he gets the I guess that's a good one. So are you going for the one with the baby?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why that was the one I walked up to. I'm about 8 meters away from him, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
Yeah, so you zap him, and this electrical arc shoots out and hits this cheetah, and it drops, and
And the baby dies from falling damage.
cheetahs fall, and the baby dies.
That's like the GM that constantly screws over players that use the sleep spell, because every time they use sleep, the person wakes up when they hit the ground.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the predator falls, and its mouth opens, and this child kind of rolls out of its mouth. The other 3 that are still up are going to. They
They're
see.
going to attack. They're going to attack Randolph.
They can't quite make it to Randolph, but they can make it to the kid.
Yeah,
So the 3 of them, as soon as that baby hits the ground and rolls, they immediately run up. They use all 3 of their minor actions to get on him.
So my turn's not completely over. So
Okay.
I've shot him with my first action.
Right.
Does he drop? It looks like he's unconscious, or does he? Okay. All right. Well, if that's the case, then I'm going to pick the child up.
Okay. So you have the wee baby chicken.
I guess I can't. I moved towards the child because I'm still 8 meters away. Right.
Right.
And so I only have 1 action left, so I can only move 3.
Yeah, you got a minor action left, so you
So
can
I'm 5 meters.
you can move 6 meters towards the kid.
All right. Well then, yeah, I moved 6 meters. So I'm still 2 meters away.
So the other three rush up and are standing over the kid. One of them is directly over the kid, but he can't pick him up because he's out of minor actions, metagaming. The other two are growling at you in like a deep feline type growl. It's almost like a mix between a wolf and a cat. It's very strange. Randolph, what would you like to do?
I shoot at one of the ones that's growling at Sarda.
Okay.
I aim and shoot.
Okay. So you get a +1 to your attack roll. Gun combat plus dex. +1. Okay, that is a +4 to damage, so that's going to give you a +40 +3 net. And are you using burst mode, or are you?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say you could go full auto with the baby right
not
there.
shooting right next to Sarda, I don't think.
Don't worry, I got this.
19.
Okay, so yeah, you drop another one. You know, the other two. Ooh, what? I did not roll a 23.
You rolled a 12.
Yeah, I rolled 2D. That's a 12. So with a 12, they fail their. If Traveler had a morale check, they would have failed their morale check, and they are getting ready to bolt. So you still. Oh no, you use your minor action to aim. Bocephus, what are you doing?
I am going to, if they look like they're about to run, I'm going to let them.
Okay. What about you, Sarda?
I'm picking the kid up, and I'm basically retreating back to, to the group. So I guess I move over, grab the kid, and start backing away.
Okay, so you back away. The last two take off running, and we're out of initiative. They bolt off into the forest line.
Do first aid on the baby.
Okay, go ahead and make a medic plus intellect or education check.
8.
Well, you bandage him. That's about as.
Yeah.
Oh well, no, you get a +2 for your med kit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he gets 2 endurance back, and I mean, you could only imagine that this child is crying and sniffling, but it comes out weird because he's a bird, and you guys pick him up, and I assume you're taking him back to the village.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bring him back to the village, and the mother and father meet you at the edge of the village, and they are squawking and carrying on, and she immediately takes the baby from Sarda, and they are extremely overjoyed that you have come to help them, and the father turns around and starts basically proclaiming that the ancestor spirits have sent you to help the Dudeli as a whole.
God.
They have proclaimed you as heroes.
Well, then, yeah.
We
Well,
did get rid of 5 of the 8
they
cheetah thingies.
Yeah, they need to all gather together and go approach the ship of the squid folk and kill them all, and live in peace.
That's how you live in peace. You you kill all the ones that are unpeaceful, and then
Yeah,
there will
but
be
if-
peace.
If all of them at the planet just showed up at the ship at the same time and just ran up into the ship and started tearing everything up, I think they probably win that one. And so, see how it works out for them.
Yeah, the real question is how many more ships do this other race have, and will they send them to get revenge? That's the real question you have to ask.
So before we close up for the night, the Dudelli bird folk are all kind of fawning their feathers over you, and you are now their new favorite thing for the next 10 minutes. They are all gathered around you. Your radio comes alive. Your comm dot squawks, and you get a message from Alex back at the camp, and she says, "Commanders, you might want to get over here. The Hakes have showed up, and they are not happy."
Tell them to go to hell.
She says, "Actually, I tried that."
So I'll ask if we did any actual trading with these people, because to my knowledge, we haven't.
She says,
None of us.
not to her
We
knowledge.
All right,
We
fine.
haven't traded anything.
All right, that's fine. So let's go check it out.
Okay, so we will pick up with you going back and dealing with the Hakes next week at 7 o'clock, and hopefully we won't have any technical malfunction.
Yeah,
Have a lot
maybe
of
the
fun.
weather will be better.
Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, take care, everybody.
Maybe you'll be above freezing next week.
Oh, God, that would be nice. That would be really nice. Yeah, there used to be a switch to turn off the new display, and I don't see it anymore. Personalization, I don't see the switch.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Shows zoom interface? That mean? And dark mode? No, I don't. I don't.
There is beta features on the.
Yeah, my beta features are turned off. Toggling
Okay.
beta features will cause a page reload. That's
Mine's
mine's turned off. It's so weird though. Like I said, they over this last holiday weekend they did something to the dice roller, and it's been
probably better off Googling it. I think if you use different methods, it seems to be working fine. So like if you're using the actual character sheet, that seems to work fine. If you type in /roll 2d6 plus 4, that works fine. If you do the bracket 2d6 plus 4, that formula seems right. But you're right. The other one's doing a weird P. If I hit the die roller and I hit the 2d6, for example, if I get out of advanced,
right.
and then I don't know how to get out of advanced.
Well, and when I was finishing up
Simple rolling. If I go to simple rolling, that seems to work fine when I click the 2d6.
Yeah, when I was finishing up rolling for the for finishing the sector map earlier today, I noticed that it was acting weird. It wasn't this bad though. This is even worse than it was before. So
The others, I can't get the advanced roller to work. You know how you switch it from D20 to D6? It will not switch.
yeah,
from
it's
D20 to
popping
D6.
up the pop up window, the drop down menu for it. It's popping it up behind the
Just
dice
found it.
roller one.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I noticed that was not working properly. But now it's
this
not even
one-
rolling the dice right.
That seemed to be doing the formula correct. I put in 2d6 plus 3, and I'm hitting roll with advanced.
Yeah, you got
roll.
a 3, and a +3.
I mean, so the formula seems right. It was when I looked at other people's, it had an exclamation mark in there.
Yeah, well, Yeah, that was either for exploding dice, or if it was exclamation mark P, it was for penetrating dice, which I don't even know what that means.
Okay, so on the die roller at the very top of the screen, where you can close the die roller, below that's where the exploding and
Right, and that's what I was saying is that make sure. I was telling Glenn to make sure those are not highlighted because it will.
Yeah, he did have them highlighted though, evidently, because that's how it was giving that weird.
Yeah,
because he had the exploding P penetrating.
Yeah, like I said, I don't even know what those are for. I mean, I was thinking exploding dice. That would be kind of cool. You roll the dice and they explode on the screen. But no, that's not what they're doing.
Well, so an exploding dice, typically, if I roll max, it re-rolls. So if I roll a 6, it rolls a second die, and it'll just keep doing that until I stop rolling 6s. And so
Oh.
some games use that for like damage as like an extra added, rather than having critical damage, they have exploding die rolls. And
Oh, I see. So yeah, I see.
so
Yeah,
so
it
on
just
that
did it.
8, you rolled a 6 as your first roll, and so with the first roll being a 6, it rolled a second die, and so that's
Yeah.
so yeah. So that 2d6 exploding, it had, because you rolled a 6, it rolled a third die,
Right.
and so that's what the exploding dies do. So yeah, it's I don't know what penetrating does. I mean,
Yeah.
overall the years I've played champions, for example, where the damage was read 2 different ways. If you
Yeah.
had an energy blast that did 20d6, it would actually count it. So the stun done was 70, but what you do is 1s are 0 physical damage, 6s are 2 physical damage. And so you basically say that was 20 die 6 rolled. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1s. There's 1, 2, 3 6s. So it would have been 18 physical damage and 70 stun from that 20 die 6 roll.
Oh, geez, that's complicated.
Yeah, so you have to sit there and go, well, there's 20 die 6 rolled, and 1s count as nothing, 6s count as 2. And so that's how much physical damage is dealt by that attack.
Oh.
And so, because it's a superhero game, right? So
Right.
they want the stun, because you're trying to knock out your superheroes. Of course, you got to knock out your opponent, and so stun's very important. But at the same time, you do want to track how much physical damage are you actually doing as well.
Right.
So it separates them into 2 different systems, and then it has a completely different mechanic for what they call killing damage. And so killing damage are like lasers, katanas, stuff that's really lethal. And so that is typically less dice. So you might roll 3d6 slash roll 3d6. And so what happened? And so that would be that is the physical damage dealt by the killing attack, and then you have a multiplier that's rolled for how much stun is dealt.
Oh,
And so
jeez.
it's 1d6 minus 1, so it'd be a 2. So 2 times 8 would be 16 stun. So that'd be 8 physical damage and 16 stun.
Wow.
And normal armor will not stop that, because this is like really lethal damage, right? So unless
Right.
you've got like a bulletproof vest or some type of hardened armor, it's not going to stop that killing damage. And superheroes that use that type of killing damage are, looked down upon. Wolverine always had was always kind of frowned upon because he used the claws and stuff.
Right.
So that was sort of how they kept the two. And so the reason they do the killing damage this way is they wanted the stunned amount to be really swingy. So if I roll a 6, that's going to be 40 stun dealt by that one attack.
Right.
If I rolled a 1, it would only be 8 stun. And it has to do with the fact that when you get shot, like if you get shot in the finger, you can die of shock.
Right.
And so so they wanted to represent the fact that physical damage can be immensely high stun. It can also be really low stun. There's people that get shot and it goes right through and they aren't even aware that it happened, type thing. And so they wanted to kind of reflect that with that type of killing damage. And so so when you start throwing in all these different die rolling systems, all of a sudden the penetrating and exploding, non-penetrating, that stuff starts getting crazier and crazier from all the different game systems with all their different ways of doing things. So
well, cool. All right.
All right.
We'll see you
Thanks
next
for running.
Friday at 7
Yeah,
o'clock.
I'm looking forward to having the new player. Or is he going to try to make a character between sessions? Or
Yeah, he's going to make a character between sessions, and then he'll come back with any contacts for connections, and
Awesome.
We'll figure that. And I'll give him 1 or 2 additional skills from the explorers list.
Make sure he has one of these bird options, man. Those things sounded pretty funny.
Yes.
I was going, that'd be kind of fun to play. Totally ditzy, just constantly whatever is more attractive, just changing your mind mid-topic.
Yeah, mid-sentence, just decide to go do something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun to play. So, all right.
All right. Have a good night.
Thanks
man.
a lot. I'll
Yep.
talk to you later.
Bye.